Do. Taking Satoko. Well, I'm not, but Mion is, I guess. I'm probably just gonna stay in, aren't I? Yeah. Maybe a time skip again? Day of the Watanagashi Festival. June 20th, 1982. 1:40 p.m. What was I doing today? Nothing in particular. Nothing at all. I just wanted to play hooky. I woke up in the afternoon, I ate instant food for lunch while watching boring TV programs. I had a lot of headaches, so I lay down on the sofa. I wouldn't wake up again if I went to sleep. Whatever. I decided to sleep. I've already told this that Satoshi had asked her to look up for Satoko. I didn't have to do anything else for myself. I fell asleep though my head was aching a little bit. That would be all I'd have to deal with. June 20th, 1982, 5:02 p.m. The aunt believed that all the villagers frowned upon her because her brother-in-law and his wife were pro-Dem activists. She surely experienced some fallout during the time of the dispute. People had stopped looking coldly upon her, even though she assumed otherwise. She was paranoid, believing that all the villagers hated her, and so she decided to hate them back. Her attitude, of course, begot hatred from the villagers, and the situation became exactly the way she thought it was from the very start. What came first, their poor relationship with the neighbors, or her husband's affair? She didn't know herself. Her husband claimed that he got over because he was fed up with her attitude. She in turn claimed that the relationship with the neighbors went sour because her husband had damaged her reputation. Only Satoshi was aware that both happened at almost the same time. Their quarrel had become a daily routine now. When the husband came home late, the wife would shout at him at the entrance. Satoshi wondered why they didn't get a divorce, their marriage being as rotten as it was, but he secretly knew the reason for that too. It was the fortune his parents had left. His aunt had hidden their bank books and stamps and never allowed her husband access to them. So her husband would search the house for them. She would find out he stole some money from her purse. This would cause yet another fight. Satoshi had never been aware that his parents had that much money when they were alive. After their death, however, one of his relatives told him. He was informed that his parents had left a large sum of money in some bank account. Satoshi couldn't understand why they had that kind of money because his family had always been, as far as he knew, poor. It was because of the dam project. His parents probably got the money in return for their cooperation with the government. They had to strive to get more villagers on their side, provide information to them, and whatnot. The money was probably compensation for their efforts. His aunt and uncle never had any intention to adopt them until they heard about the money. After somebody from some financial institution revealed its existence, they appeared to adopt Satoko and Satoshi. The couple would fight every day. Eventually Satoshi's uncle started spending more time at his mistress's house. He realized that he had no reason to return to his own home, because he would just end up in a fight with his wife if he did. When he stopped coming home, Satoshi felt relieved. Neither their uncle nor aunt treated the two of their siblings very well. Satoshi's aunt wouldn't have to vent her frustration upon them. The reason the couple fought was their corrupted relationship, so if they separated, there wouldn't be any more fights. Satoshi had thought that at first. But even after their separation, his aunt still had a short temper. Another woman had stolen her husband. The villagers must be talking behind her back. It was mortifyingly embarrassing. Since she lost an opponent to fight, Satoshi's aunt directed her hatred towards the siblings. Satoshi had been observing her. He learned when she would get upset how to avoid her attention. He managed to get by without upsetting her by turning a keen eye to her behavior and avoiding conflict. But Satoko couldn't do that. She hated her aunt and didn't even try to hide it. Satoshi told her to behave in their aunt's presence, but her eyes were always filled with hatred. Satoshi strived to reduce the conflict between them as much as possible. He stepped in to mend their relationship. It was a heavy burden for him though, because he was still just a boy. He bore so much. He cared for his little sister by lying and maneuvering. He tried to manipulate and tried to maintain a tangible sense of peace, but he couldn't do that forever. The relationship between Satoko and her aunt had already spiraled out of control. Satoshi found something in the trash. It probably wasn't a legitimate piece of place for trash disposal. If it was, sanitation workers would have come and picked it up. He passed by this street all the time, so he noticed when there were new things dumped there. He found a plain-looking desk of the kind library to be seen in offices. Somebody must have dumped it within the past few days. It's not likely to bring usable trash home. She would have Satoshi bring trash home just a few days ago. If he told her about the desk, she would want it. His aunt hated to find bugs and garbage in the drawers, so she would always open them to check first before carrying the thing home. Satoshi opened all the drawers, all of which were empty. After that, he turned around and walked for about 5 steps. He was standing in a knee-high bush. There he laid something he'd been carrying all the time until today. It'd be very hard to find unless you specifically knew it was there to begin with. Or are you gonna lure your aunt out? I see. Looking satisfied, Satoshi looked around for some landmarks to remember the place by. I see. June 20th, 1982, 5:51 PM. Hey, old pal. I saw you showed up again this year. You'd better get ready for us. Yeah, ha 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 ha. You're as peppy as ever. Oh? Is she a newcomer? Uh-huh. This is Rina Higura. Don't underestimate her, she's good. Haha, no I'm not. Nice to meet you. Yo, you too. I bought all kind of prizes this year. They'll be a real battle to win. Try and take them all with you if you can. Rina tends to dot on cute stuff. Oh, it's a Rika. Yeah, that stuffed animal looks just like her type. What? How so cute. I want to take it home with me. Hey, the booth isn't open yet. Whoa. Wait, I only saw Rika last chapter, I forgot. Stop it, Rina. He says the booth isn't open yet. You can run him into the ground once he opens up. Oh, it's mine. I'm taking it home. Rina lost her marbles over the stuffed animal. Everyone laughed. Everyone except Satoko. She was just standing by herself, some distance from the crowd. Her eyes looked dull. Meep. What is it, Rika? Rika walked up to Satoko, smiling ear to ear in an effort to cheer her up. Forget your worries today. Let's just have fun. Satoko looked down. Even if she got to have fun today, her circumstances at home wouldn't change. Satoko, your evil aunt isn't around. I know that. So why don't you have fun, Nipa? 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 Oh, sorry, but I don't feel like it. Could you please leave me alone? Why aren't you smiling? Satoko's sulkily glimpsed at Rika. She gave her a look, as though she wanted to say that Rika should know the reason. Even if she could have fun today, nothing would change between her and her evil aunt. No matter how fun the festival was, once she went home, the aunt would be there. The aunt would find something wrong with Satoko, get mad and shout at her so loudly that the neighbors would hear. How could she have fun even just for today while knowing all that? Satoko didn't say that out loud, but her eyes betrayed her emotions to Rika. So Satoko, if your suffering ends today, will you smile? Satoko gasped. She thought that Rika might do something to help, but soon after she realized that Rika was just trying to comfort her. Could her suffering end today? Is it because Rika knows? Because of Rika? Because it seemed like she knew in the last chapter. How? Satoko knew there was nothing Rika could do. So after just one moment of freedom, Satoko fell into despair again. Rika, don't give me false hopes. Satoko. Rika's voice was clearer than Satoko had ever heard before. It's already been decided. Rika does know. June 20th, 1982, 8:11 PM. Though she snuck out the window after supper, he heard the distant ruckus of the festival. The festival would end at 9 PM. After the Watanagashi ceremony, there were going to be a raffle drawing, so there was 2 types of people in Himizawa, the types who would go home after dinner and the types who would stay until the raffle was over. Either relaxing at home or still at the festival. There were only 2 types of patterns. On top of that, there weren't many neighbors in the vicinity of Satoshi's house. As a result, he found nobody on the streets. On that night, the small village seemed especially desolate. Satoshi knew it was going to be like this, but he would keep running until he saw it for himself. He was barefoot, but started running without hesitation. He felt as though he'd become a wild animal running on his bare feet. He got the impression that he could run faster than usual. Not only his running ability, his vision, his hearing, and his sense of smell. All of his senses were keener, including his sixth sense. He could almost sense the presence of people in the distance, if only when crouched like an animal. It felt strange, almost as though he stepped into another world. He'd been feeling tense and anxious until today, battling with his own fear, but now he felt as though he had metamorphosized into a different person. June 20th, 1982, 8:37 PM. Alright everyone, I'm going to explain how the raffle works. Please gather around the altar. The festival had reached its climax. The raffle was going to start. Both the women who were dancing and those who were waiting for the raffle gathered around the altar. This was the first time they'd held a raffle. The planning committee decided to hold one from this year onwards to attract more people to the festival. At first, the prizes were things the committee members had donated, but Oreo, not appreciating how pathetic they looked, had them thrown away. Oreo took the initiative and bought a brand new TV, a washing machine, a cooling fan, and other such things for the raffle. The committee wanted to keep it small initially, but it turned out big thanks to her. Oreo was upset because the committee members weren't enthusiastic enough in her opinion. Some of the members thought it would be very difficult to prepare prizes of equal value the following year, so this might be the very first and last raffle. Thanks to you we have such a wonderful prizes this year, Oreo. They must have cost a lot, didn't they? We can reimburse you from our budget. Buffoon. No point of reimbursing that, it was never about the money, idiots. Now, don't say that. This raffle's all thanks to you, Oreo-san. It's not like I'm doing it all for myself. Don't be ridiculous. The Mayor Kimiyoshi was having a tough time pacifying Oreo. Yeah. I don't remember a raffle in the next year, so I guess they did stop here. All of a sudden, one of the committee members burst into one of the tents in a rush. He looked upset, so Kimiyoshi assumed that somebody got hurt in an accident. What's going on, Makino-san? I hope you're not having a heart attack. Kimiyoshi made a joke to calm him down. Makino, however, still looked tense. He whispered something to Kimiyoshi. Even without hearing the exchange between Makino and Kimiyoshi, it was plain as day there was bad news. Oreo-san, I have unpleasant news if you don't mind. Kimiyoshi, accompanied by Makino, drew to Orio's side and spoke in a very serious tone. Kimiyoshi whispered to her the exact same words Makino told her. Oh dear. This is bad. Into unexpected. What happens twice will happen a fourth time. That's not funny, Oreo-san. You're right, it isn't. It's just another hassle. The police are trying to identify the body. I heard that the face was completely destroyed, so it will be difficult. It's quite clear who it is, though. Eh? Do you know who it might be? Oreo glanced at Kimiyoshi, then started chuckling. Idiots. He must be some, impotent lad who didn't come to the Watanagashi festival. People who respect Orishida-sama don't get involved in something like that. Oreo kept laughing. Kimiyoshi and Makino didn't know how to react to that. June 20th, 1982, 9:04 PM. This is merciless. Kuma-chan, every death is merciless unless the dead wished for it. They have my condolences. How's it going over there? Did you find anything that could identify the body? The forensics investigators shook their heads. The victim was wearing sandals and casual clothes. They must be from this neighborhood. We should be able to identify the corpse by asking around. That's the way we do it. The section manager says this case might become classified, so be careful with that. Gotcha. Tama, Agi, gathered some officers and gave them directions. Dr. Ivy has arrived. Doctor, it's over here. The young doctor got out of his car and headed in the victim's direction. Hello. I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I had to help with the raffle. Why do you have a little description about being a young doctor? I don't know. You must have drunk a lot at the festival, Doctor. Are you sure you're sober? Maybe I should run a breathalyzer test on you just to be safe. I'm fine. My assistant is driving. Clever of you. Hey, let the doctor pass. There was an area cordoned off with a few plastic sheets. An officer rolled up the streets and let Ushi and Ivy pass. The forensic people were taking photos from many different angles. The blood splatters and the bloody sandals were left untouched, marked with chalk and indicated with small alphabeticalized plates. I'm not used to seeing things like this. Ivy took out a handkerchief and covered his nose. You should breathe through your mouth. Well, you might sense the smell visually though. The body appeared to be that of a middle-aged woman who was soaked in blood. It looked like a middle-aged woman because of the hair and what she was wearing. The reason why nobody could be certain it was a middle-aged woman was because his face was completely pulverized. This is brutal. I'm sure it was done out of malice. The victim must have been murdered right here, judging from the patterns of the blood splatters and the soles of the sandals. And even though not many people take this road, the body is right in the middle of it. It's very unusual to see a culprit who would bludgeon their victim until their face was completely destroyed. Also, can you look at her arms? She put on a latex glove and lifted the corpse's arms. See? Spotless, aren't they? Are you saying the victim didn't try to protect her head? That there's no signs of struggle? Right, you are. I think the victim lost consciousness with the first blow. Then the culprit kept beating to complete the murder. The victim was probably lying face down at the time. Judging from the stains on her clothes, the body is face up right now. The culprit seems to have flipped the victim over in order to smash her face, even though by that point her death was certain. Ivy looked like he was gonna throw up, both because of the putrid smell and Ushi's reasoning. Smashing the victim's face is clearly a sign of a grudge in my experience. It's a very profound grudge too. That means the culprit must be somebody very close to the victim. I understand you didn't call me to resuscitator, doctor. Do you know who the victim is? If you do, I don't have to waste time questioning the neighbors. I looked at the body once again. He looked away quickly and thought. Then after a while, I left the investigation area without saying anything. I'm sorry, I don't know. Eh? Are you sure? Ushi smirked and looked into Ivy's eyes, as though Ivy was hiding something. I'm not hiding anything. Nah, I guess you're still under the influence, Doctor. Maybe you'll remember when you're sober. Let me know if you do. Ushi tapped Ivy on the back. The doctor's saying he wanted some fresh air left the scene. Kumamagi returned. Ushi-san, the section chief manager's on the radio. The one in the first car. Ivy lied. Huh? Nothing. Hurry up and question the neighbors. The victim must be from this area. June 20th, 1982, 9:39 p.m. Here he is. Ushi-san. Thank you for coming here this late at night. I know you have school tomorrow. I'm really sorry to bother you. No problem. Where's your father? My stepfather didn't come home much. Uh-huh. Since when? When did he come home last? I don't know. I heard he's living with a woman who works at a club in Akinomiya or something. I don't remember exactly when, but I guess I saw him a few weeks ago. Uh-huh. Do you have your father's address? No. He's living with a woman who works at a club? Do you know the name of the place? No. I know it's in Akinomiya, that's all. What's your father's name? Teppa Hojo. Ushi signaled Kuruki with his chin and who nodded while taking notes. Were your mother and father getting along well? I don't know much about that, but I don't think so. I see. I want you to tell me honestly, do you know anyone who might have been holding a grudge against your stepmother? I don't. Nah, alright. Please let me know if you remember something. Here's my card. My number is on it. Okay. I might ask to see you again for further inquiries. And if you see your stepfather, please let him know that we want to contact him. Kuma-chan, drive him home, will you? Oh, no, I can go home by myself. Please let us drive you home. There's a possibility that the culprit who murdered your aunt is roaming around the neighborhood. You might get hurt too. Uh, Thank you for your consideration, but I'm fine. Satoshi tried to reject the offer, but Ushi and Kumagi insisted. In the end, Satoshi was forced to accept. He turned around to leave, when Ushi spoke to him as if he remembered something he'd forgotten to say. Hojo-san? Yes? Don't worry, it's no problem. We'll catch the culprit soon. Do you have any leads? Yes, we do. Like what? That's confidential. Nah. Ordinary people might think that Ushi was trying to cheer up the poor kid with a joke. Well, usually people get worked up when they commit murder, though of course there are some exceptions. What kind of evidence do you find when the culprit's worked up? When somebody is in a very excited condition, their body shows many symptoms like sweat, loss of hair. We often find the culprit's hair at the crime scenes. Well, this is outside, so it's a bit difficult. It's a bit different, but still. Did you find their hair? I don't know yet. The forensics guys are searching the scene right now. I'm anxious to see what they'll bring me. Excuse me, I have to go now. Please, Kuma-chan, would you? Sure. See you again soon, Hojo-san. I'll let you know if there's any progress in the investigation. Let me know when you remember something. Let's cooperate to catch the murderer of your stepmother. Higurashi when they cry. Oh? She called me in the morning after the Watanagashi festival to tell me that the curse has struck again for the 4th time. The victim was the evil aunt who's been harassing Satoshi and Satoko. Satoshi's suffering should be over now since the problem was with Satoko and the aunt's relationship to begin with. Maybe I should have celebrated, but I wasn't in the mood for some reason. Did the police have any leads on the suspect? This one cried when I asked her. I don't know, Ushi seems to be questioning people in the neighborhood. He thinks the culprit is somebody close to the victim. Being identical twins, Sis and I think very much alike. If I suspected Satoshi of being the murderer, so would she. Because of this, I didn't have to mention the obvious. Does Satoshi have an alibi for that day? Eh? I don't know. I heaved a huge sigh. Are you stupid? He was at the festival. Didn't you see him there? Yeah, right, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. I heaved another sigh. Sis was stupid enough to forget to make an alibi for him, even though the murder of his aunt alone was raised enough suspicion. So that means he did do it. That's not important right now. The problem is whether or not he has an alibi or not. Well, the police are going to come here later. I'll tell them I was with him at the festival. Sis? Lying out of the blue like that won't work. If you haven't done anything to ensure his alibi, it's too late now. Please just be honest with them. I can't trust your acting skills. You might raise more suspicion if you make something up on the spot. Yeah, sorry. You sounded depressed. I was the one who should have been depressed. Mion usually handles things well, but she's not too good in emergencies. I was left worried for the future of the Shinozaki family. Mion must have been embarrassed. She soon changed the subject. I guess you haven't been able to work lately, have you? You're right, I haven't, thanks to you. I'm sorry about that. I'll hide somewhere until tonight, so maybe you can work today. Just had been appearing in public places during festival preparations and whatnot. As a result, I haven't been able to pretend to be her. I haven't been able to work. As someone who supported myself, it was a bit of a pain. To be honest, I didn't feel like working, but I couldn't afford to be sitting around either. When I locked my apartment door before leaving, the door of the next apartment opened and Keisei appeared. Hey Keisei. Shion-san, are you heading out? Yeah, I'm going to work since Sis gave me some time until tonight. Can you give me a ride? Shion-san, wouldn't it be safer for you to take a few days off? The police seem to be stalking out the main house. I don't think it's a good idea to leave. I appreciate your concern, but I have to make money to survive. Keisei might suggest you would donate money to my cause. However, I had sworn to myself when I started living here that I wouldn't depend on Keisei. While I don't obey anyone else's rules, I stick to my own. Keisei could tell that I was adamant in my decision. So after repeating himself a couple times as a formal procedure, he decided to give me a ride after all. Every time we went to my uncle's store by car, we stopped at this traffic light. I knew it was going to happen again, but it still irritated me. Pedestrians passed by in front of the car. I was sorry to see that one of them looked like Satoshi-kun. It was him. Though I'd spoken to him over the phone just a few days ago, it's been a while since I last saw him. Casey, sorry, but could you tell my uncle that I can't come today? I'm getting off here. What? Shion-san? Casey looked taken aback, but I got out of the car regardless. The light turned green. The car behind him honked while Casey was shouting at me, so he had to start moving. Satoshi-kun was on his bike, but he was going really slowly. I caught up to him in a flash and tapped him on the back. Hey, Satoshi. Hey. Hello. Surprised to see you in Akiyamiya, Satoshi-kun. If I talked to him with a smile, he might smile back, so I smiled as brightly as I could. Mion. He looked tired as always, but as I could tell, he was trying to smile back. Worry suddenly disappeared. I was certain I looked happy. I was aware of that myself, so it must have been obvious to Satoshi-kun. Bum. I don't know the circumstances, but you look happy. Yeah, I am happy. I'm happy because you look happy. When I teased him, he looked a little embarrassed. It was like we were back to the good old days. I felt even happier than before. What's going on, Satoshi-kun? Did something good happen today? Not really. My aunt died and I have to deal with the police and the neighbors. I must have asked something dumb. He seemed to be okay with it though. He frowned a bit at first, but Satoshi-kun continued just smiling gently. He looked worn out but satisfied, like he had accomplished something great. That was the mood I sensed from him, so I was convinced. The one who killed that wicked old aunt who tormented Toko was him. I had absolutely no proof, but I knew it instinctively. So I admitted all those questions. I knew Satoshi-kun's motive for killing his aunt, and how badly he was driven into a corner. I knew the environment of the situation he was in, and I knew Satoshi-kun's feelings. I knew all of that, so I admitted all those questions. I wanted to celebrate his release from that curse, so I smiled like nothing was different as I asked. Where are you going, Satoshi-kun? To work? That's right, I have to make a stop before that though. A stop? I have to make sure it's still there, otherwise I'll continue being really anxious. The conversation reminded me, the reason he started his part-time job was to buy Satoko a huge teddy bear. It was being sold at the toy store just down the street. I recall that the teddy bear was very expensive. Satoko's birthday was right after the festival. I wasn't sure what day though. Wait, didn't he say he quit his job? Maybe he was going to greet his co-workers and clean out his locker or something. Either way, he would be completely free soon. Maybe he hadn't got paid yet, that's why he wanted to check if they still had the teddy bear. Maybe he only got paid on Satoko's birthday. When we got near the toy store, he rushed to the display window. He looked relieved that it hadn't been sold out yet. Good. Alright, it's still there. You've earned quite a lot of money, haven't you? Why don't you reserve it? He probably hadn't thought of that. He really did need someone to look after him. Reserve it, you can do that? I looked into the display window over his shoulder. The teddy bear wasn't that cute in my opinion. It looked huge and cramped in the middle of this store's showcase. Really, it looked more like a display model than an item for sale. I don't see a price tag. Is that really for sale? How much is it? Yeah, I'm sure they sell it. What about the price? Does it fit your budget? It's alright, I already checked. Satoshi thought I was teasing him again. He pouted and looked a little sulky. There's no problem then. Why don't you go and reserve it now? Then you won't have to feel anxious anymore. When we entered the store and looked for the clerk. Is anyone here? Nice. Maybe you can get it without paying. No, Mion, stealing is bad. I'm just kidding. Trying to make you laugh. Do you think I would really do that? No, sorry. Satoshi smiled apologetically. I felt with my cheek to tease him. It had really been a while since the last time we did this. In between those times, many undesirable things happened that I wanted to forget. But now I felt as though all those things simply vanished into the air around us. I found an old person napping in the back. He must be the clerk, I thought. He looked to be fast asleep. Excuse me, you work here, right? I poked his shoulder, but he didn't look like he was gonna wake up. When I did, a middle-aged woman wearing an apron came in. Grandpa, you fell asleep again. We have customers. I'm really sorry, you two. He's been really flaky, you know? The middle-aged woman shook the old man awake and told him to go back to the living room. She went to the cash register after that. That was embarrassing. That was so embarrassing, so how can I help you? I would like to reserve something. That big teddy bear in the display window? Oh, that one. Are you sure? That one is really expensive. You know that, right? Yes. I think I have enough. He'll get paid really soon, so he would like to reserve it. The woman looked a bit hesitant at first, but she eventually wrote down Satoshi's name and accepted the reservation. Satoshi-kun received a slip of paper. See? You don't have to worry about the teddy bear anymore. Yeah, I'll get paid soon too, so I feel relieved now. He would have kept coming to check every day if he hadn't done this now. He would have spent his time needlessly worrying. Satoshi-kun looked very relieved indeed. I should have done it sooner. Usually people do that right away when they want something. It's very rare for someone not to think of that. It's so fun to tease him. Those painful days seem unbelievable now. Satoshi-kun looked like he'd forgotten everything that happened up until yesterday. Anyway, thanks. Satoshi-kun held out his hand to touch my head. Was he going to stroke it? I felt my face reddening already. Even before he touched my head, I felt tingly, remembering the last time. I didn't care about the murder or whatever else happened. As long as Satoshi-kun had his freedom, everything would be alright. I would be content as long as I could live happily from today onward. Satoshi-kun's hand never reached my head. I slowly opened my eyes, only to realize that the situation had drastically changed. There were 4 men in suits blocking our way. It looked as though they'd been waiting for us to exit the toy store. Hello. The oldest of the 4 men stopped forward while smirking. I'd never met this man, but it looked like he knew both Mion and Satoshi-kun. He was probably a cop. I ran a search for information in my head, and found some right away. Good to see both of you, Hojo and Shinozaki-san. I'm sorry to bother you at a time like this. This must be a Higurashi, the cop who's investigating the series of mysterious deaths. He thinks that the Shinozaki family is behind all the cases. In other words, he's an enemy of the Shinozaki family. He has a deep connection with other investigation divisions in the police force, and actually knows around the business in this area. He annoys the Shinozaki family enough as it is by interfering with the Yakuza business. As known his suspicions and a series of mysterious deaths, naturally as the family successor, he's not a welcome figure to Mion Shinozaki. I try to imagine how sister would react. Oh, Ushi-san, thank you for working hard for our safety. Oh, the 4 of you, you want something from the toy store? A doll, maybe? I know what they want, and it's not a toy. It's probably not me either. They want Satoshi-kun. Took a look at Satoshi. He seemed a bit uncomfortable. The other 3 cops loosely surrounded us to prevent our escape. Hojo-san, I'd like to talk to you about something. What for? Are you taking him to the station? You don't have to go with him, Satoshi-kun. Let's get out of here. I pushed him on his shoulder, but he just stood there looking pale and bewildered. Bewildered? No, he actually looked resigned. Then, of course this is a mistake. It's obvious that he killed his aunt from the circumstances. You don't have to look at this crime scene. How could Mion have failed to create an alibi? That stupid Mion must have spoken to the police without making anything up at all. She must have not told them that she knew where Satoshi-kun was. If she hadn't done anything, the villagers wouldn't work to help her. It was just a matter of time until the police uncovered Satoshi-kun's complete lack of an alibi. The police were trying to corner him and lead him to confess. I looked at Satoshi-kun's face once again. He looked like a dead man. He probably didn't know he could refuse to be interrogated. If he was taken to the station and grilled by Uchi, he would confess in a minute. Somebody had to protect him. Nobody had ever been there for him. I had to step up now. But how? Ooh. This is a different color scheme, and it sounds slightly different too. Would it be possible to alter what Mion had already told them, saying it was a mistake? It's just inverted, isn't it? Because the blue turned to red. That wasn't going to work. If I had more time, I would come up with an excellent idea, but I didn't have that much time at all. To pressure him, the cuffs were drawing nearer. Satoshi-kun must have felt intimidated. He might end up turning himself in due to the pressure, while I'm stuck trying to come up with something. I have to do something now. I have to say something, otherwise Satoshi-kun might give in. I have to save him. Ushi drew nearer. Satoshi-kun fell back. Oh, it won't take that much time. Come on now, don't be scared. It won't take that much time. He just said it. He just said we will let him out if you caught him now. Satoshi-kun, don't give in. If you give in now, everything you worked for will be ruined. Oh. Satoshi-kun looked like he was on breaking point, and Ushi was clearly aware of it. Ushi smirked and held out his arm to grab Satoshi-kun's arm. I felt electrified when I saw that. That hand shouldn't be allowed to touch Satoshi-kun. The moment Ushi touched his shoulder, he'd given in. He would go to the police station and confess everything. Do you want to know his alibi? Ushi turned his face towards me. His left hand was hanging in the air. I wasn't very prepared for this. I just had to stop Ushi no matter what. I only needed to gain some time. It really didn't matter what I said. That's right. I want to get Hojo-san's alibi. Nah. We must not be doing our jobs. We can't seem to confirm his whereabouts at the time of the crime. It's shameful, but we decided to question him in person. You don't have to ask him. I can confirm his alibi. Oh, really? That would help. You already told me that you were at the festival that night, and many people can confirm it. It'd be easier if you can confirm that Hojo-san was with you, but I don't think you mentioned him when I questioned you last time, did you? Are you going to change your statement now? Even though no one at the festival saw Hojo-san, are you going to tell me he was with you? That's right. He was with me. Wouldn't that be enough? I know you were with your other friends that night. I saw that myself. Are you still saying that you were with him? Nah ha 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 ha. Isn't that a little too hard to believe, isn't it? Ushi approached me with a creepy smile. Was he teasing me because my excuse sounded funny? I don't think so. He was frustrated due to being interrupted when he was about to catch a big fish. Are you saying that you've forgotten you were with him and just now you remembered you actually were? Me and Shinozaki? I did get a little scared, but I couldn't stop myself. I could save Satoshi-kun if I revealed my true identity. I was aware of the risk. Grandma would certainly capture me if I revealed it. I didn't think of the consequences after that. Notebook, page 27. I'm not Mio Shinozaki. I didn't go to the Watanagashi festival in the first place. Huh? Satoshi-kun and I were talking in a restaurant in Okinomiya at the time. The name of the place is Angel Mall. You can confirm with the owner if you want. Rishi was still smirking, but he apparently felt confused. What are you saying? If you aren't Mion, then who are you? I'm Shion Shinozaki, Mion's twin sister. Pleasure to meet you, Ushi-san. Ushi looked perplexed, like he didn't believe what I've said. He frowned. I didn't know Mion Shinozaki had a twin sister. Are you trying to fool me? Not at all. Why don't you check my family registry or whatever? Should I call sis? All the cops look bewildered now. Shion Shinozaki-san? Yes, that's me. Is there anything wrong? Can you come with us? If you're testifying that you were with Hojo that night, I'll have to talk to you too. Sure thing. Please go easy on us. The cops gathered at their car and started discussing something. Looked like they never expected this to happen. I hope to be able to fake Satoshi-kun's alibi for at least a little while. It shouldn't be too difficult to talk to sis about this, then forge up an alibi together. Satoshi-kun, tell them you were chatting with me at Injimo that night, no matter what they ask, okay? I'll confirm your alibi. Tell them you don't remember the night clearly, or maybe you should just stay silent. Satoshi-kun wore a startled expression, though I was telling him something important that he'd apparently decided not to listen to. Can you hear me, Satoshi-kun? You can't mess this up, okay? Okay. He must be feeling deceived, no wonder. I just confessed that I wasn't Mion, but her twin sister. I really had been deceiving him. Are you upset? Why? Because I've been fooling you. Satoshi-kun started laughing. I didn't know why he would laugh. Because he wasn't the type of person who would laugh when it was to hide something. I finally understand why you're so weird sometimes in class. I've been thinking it was a little strange. Aren't you upset that I've been fooling you? Satoshi-kun looked puzzled. It was like he didn't know whether he should be upset or not. Or maybe he was only pretending to be that way. So, this isn't the first time we met, is it? Yes, that's right, okay. How do you write your name? With the characters for poetry and sound. Shion, huh? Huh? That's a beautiful name. Could you please come with us to the station? We can get you instant coffee or tea if you like. You got eaten. Okay. Oh, I guess it's gonna happen next chapter, I guess. Alright then. What's the tips gonna be? Page 29. Did I just see that one? Oh, this is all them. Or whatever. Either Satoshi-kun was smart or very lucky, or maybe it wasn't him. The police found nothing at the crime scene to indicate the involvement in the murder. Yet Satoshi-kun was still the prime suspect. Considering his home environment, he had a strong enough motive. He had no alibi. The police had everything other than physical evidence. It wasn't surprising that Ushi took a chance. He probably didn't expect me to step in, but why did was a little too too little to avert his suspicions of Satoshi-kun. Ushi believed that Satoshi-kun did it. He was waiting for Satoshi-kun to fall apart and confess. That's what both Ushi and I were thinking. But that hypothesis was destroyed later on. I'll not talk about it now, but Ushi's theory will be disproven and the police will be thrown into a shock. A question comes to mind, that is, who saved Satoshi-kun? I can only think of the possibility that the Shinozaki family invented the culprit. Yeah, probably. But don't they hate them? Hmm. Well, that's it for this time, so bye bye.